Hey everyone. So, what if the government could suddenly outlaw something you did yesterday? Or what if they created a law that was so confusing you had literally no idea if you were breaking it? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive into the constitutional rules that stop exactly that from happening. These are the critical limits on criminal law that protect every single one of us.
So let's just jump right in with the biggest question of all. What's actually stopping the government from making any law it wants? I mean, seriously, what prevents them from punishing you today for something you did last week, back when it was perfectly legal?
And the answer, maybe not surprisingly, is the U.S. Constitution. But here's the thing you gotta remember. It's not just a rulebook for us citizens. No, it's the ultimate rulebook for the government itself. It's this powerful set of limitations specifically designed to guarantee fairness and protect your liberty.
Okay, let's break this down. We're talking about power, rules, and you. This isn't about finding some kind of legal loophole. This is about a fundamental balancing act, the government's authority versus your rights as an individual.
Now, look, of course, the government needs the power to make criminal laws. That's how we keep society safe and orderly. But, and this is a huge but, that power is not unlimited. It can't be. The Constitution puts up these guardrails to stop that power from just running wild. All right, so let's look at our first set of constitutional guardrails. This group is all about one thing, making sure laws are clear. I mean, how can you be expected to follow the rules if you don't even know what they are? Or worse, if the government just keeps changing them on you?
First up, we have something called an ex post facto law. I know, it's a fancy Latin term, but the idea behind it is simple and really unfair. It's basically a law that goes back in time to punish you for something that was totally legal when you did it.
This is the perfect way to think about it. Imagine you're playing chess. You make your final move, checkmate. But instead of shaking your hand, your opponent just says, "Oh, actually, we're adding a new rule right now that makes your move illegal, so I win." You'd flip out, right? Of course you would. It's completely unfair. And that's exactly why the Constitution says, nope, not allowed. Okay, this slide breaks down two ideas that can sound a little similar, but are actually very different. On one side, you have a law that's void for vagueness. This just means the law is so unclear, so fuzzy, that a normal person can't figure out what's actually illegal, like a law banning inappropriate conduct. I mean, what does that even mean? On the other side, a law can be void for overbreadth. This is when a law is written so broadly that it sweeps up and punishes perfectly legal, constitutionally protected stuff, like banning all public protests just to stop one bad one. So what's the big takeaway from all this? It all boils down to one simple but incredibly powerful idea: fair warning. It's a cornerstone of our entire legal system. You have a fundamental right to know, clearly and ahead of time, what the law actually is before you can get in trouble for breaking. All right, so the law has to be clear. Makes sense. But it also has to be fair. And that brings us to our next major protection: the guarantee that laws are applied equally to everybody. This is where the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment steps in. And it's a powerful and pretty straightforward command. The government can't play favorites. It has to apply its laws to all people equally. You should really think of this as your own personal shield. It protects you, it protects me, it protects everyone by making sure that a law can't be written or enforced in a way that unfairly targets or discriminates against any one group of people. So, we've covered clarity and fairness in the laws themselves. But what about after someone's been accused of breaking a law? Well, the Constitution has rules for that too. It makes sure the process and the punishment are fair and just. First up is something you've probably heard of: the protection against double jeopardy. It comes from the Fifth Amendment, and it's a simple idea. The government doesn't get a do-over. If you've been tried for a crime and found not guilty, they can't just try you again and again, hoping for a different outcome. And the reason why this exists is so important. It stops the government, with all its money and power, from just endlessly pursuing someone. It prevents them from trying to wear a person down until they finally get the conviction they want. It levels the playing field a bit. Next, let's look at the Eighth Amendment, which gives us three really important related protections. It says no excessive bail, no excessive fines, and absolutely no cruel and unusual punishments. The thread that ties all three of those together is this idea of proportionality. Basically, the punishment has to fit the crime. It's all about making sure the government doesn't impose penalties that are just way over the top, inhumane, or totally out of whack with the actual offense. Okay, let's zoom out and bring this all together. What's the big picture here? Well, all of these rules, they're all part of a very delicate constitutional balancing act. They're the bedrock of a free society. And please, if you take away one thing, let it be this. These limits are not loopholes for criminals, they are essential safeguards that protect every single one of us from the potential overreach of government power.
At the end of the day, these rules maintain that fragile but absolutely essential balance. The balance between the government's job to keep us safe and every citizen's fundamental right to liberty, to fairness, and to justice. This balance, this is what a free society is all about.
And that really leaves us with a final and pretty crucial question to think about. As our world changes with all these new technologies and new threats popping up, how do we make sure that this vital balance between government power and our own liberty is protected for the future?